Okay, and we're live. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the VR podcast. My name is Riley Sieber, and this is my second episode. The first one, there wasn't much to be heard because I haven't figured out the mic setup at that point. But I do believe that right now, you guys can hear me. And if you can't, on the live stream, then I will be releasing this actually as a podcast, and I will fix the audio and release it as a YouTube video as well. So, in this episode, I'm going to talk a bit about my thoughts on so far what I've experienced in virtual reality. And I'm also going to cover some news that I've been gathering. And, so let's jump right in. Actually, let me introduce myself. So, my name is Riley Seberg, and I own a company called VR Parties and Events. And what I do is I essentially do birthday parties and equipment rentals for virtual reality. I currently use the HTC Vive and am looking forward to using the HTC Vive Enterprise. I'm also a business owner that owns another. So my other wait, hold on. My VR Parties and Events, my company, is owned by my parent company, which is RDS Ventures LLC. And our company's main goal is to find the link between virtual reality and education. To prove that link scientifically, and then to use that link and that scientific research to then influence our education system and help bring it into the 21st century. Now, this company has already made a partnership with another technology development company that has developed a really remarkable platform and curriculum in which to teach students how to develop virtual reality. With this partnership, as well as the data gathered through VR Parties and Events, I believe that we will be able to get some really significant data on how children interact with technology. So, one of the things that I've noticed when I've been looking at virtual reality news, or at least the news that gets sent to me, the news that I see, there really isn't much negative coverage. And if you were to compare that to other sections of the technology field, I would say that that's not comparable, right? Like, AI is almost always having negative coverage. Robots, pretty negative coverage. Big data, negative coverage. But virtual reality seems to be an actual, like, tangible thing that people are seeing as altruistic. And that's actually one of the reasons why I started this podcast, was to kind of give these altruistic ideas an outlet. And also selfishly, so that I can keep up on these ideas, as my business will ultimately be built around putting these ideas effectively into practice. So getting to understand them better myself will help me in the long run. So let's go to our first story. This is pretty cool, and I really like that this is something. Hold on, let me just switch my screen. My dog is dreaming. Here we go, properties. Oh, you know what? Damn it. I didn't launch it on my on the right graphics card, so I can't show my screen. Alright, that's fine. I'll just have to talk about it. So Coachella is in like 2 weeks. Well, actually, no, it's in 2 days. April 13th through the 15th. And it seems that they have announced a 180-degree live stream channel. Now what this means is you'll be able to watch Coachella in VR. Now you're not going to be able to walk around and stuff like that, but you'll be able to see essentially what you would think of as a 360 view, but it's 180 degrees. This is the first concert that I know of that's done this, and they're going to be doing this as a 4th YouTube channel, so that will be pretty cool. And that live stream starts April 13th, and hopefully I'll be able to have a link below in the video to that live stream when I post these videos. So our next story is about physical therapy and virtual reality. So a physical therapy professor in San Antonio has been using virtual reality to help reduce her patients' pain and change their attitudes towards it. Dr. Maureen Simmons believes that the mind's power over pain is stronger than people realize. And this is an article from KSAT, San Antonio, ABC. The article goes on to talk about how they're seeing hold on. The article goes on to talk about how essentially they're fooling the brain in terms of what they see. Now, what this doctor is doing is exploding the link between pain and sight. Now, as humans, we make a strong connection between what we see and what we feel. And essentially what virtual reality does is it takes your ability to see your body away. And essentially this raises your pain tolerance. I think because it slows down the connection, but who knows? Now let's see. The article goes on to talk about how pleasurable games. That was a bad quote. So, Dr. Simmons first tests students who don't have chronic pain to control and measure pain levels with and without virtual reality. We can actually induce them to move faster without aggravating pain, doctor says. This is a really short article, and there isn't much on there. Maybe I should do more research on this. So the next story is about virtual reality and helping to treat dementia, or at least help those who are living with dementia live a little bit easier life. So this takes place at Rutgers University. And this article is by Spencer Kent for New Jersey Advanced Media. Wow, they own NJ.com. That's crazy. Wow. So this article talks about how essentially doctors are using virtual reality to research more things than ever. Many diseases under the mental health umbrella are being looked at as potential ailments that can be treated with virtual reality. And one of those diseases is dementia. For the past 5 years, Greg Berdia, a 30-year professor at Rutgers University, Electrical and Computer Engineering Department, has been leading a team of researchers developing a virtual reality platform that he says can help rewire patients' brains through gaming. That's pretty fascinating. What I realized when I was reading this article originally was essentially that because of neuroplasticity, games create essentially such a challenge for our mind that our brain begins to repair itself. I kind of equated it to a muscle, like working out. Like when you go to the gym, you do like real hard work, and if you do the work hard enough, then essentially you rip your muscle, and your muscle has to make more muscle cells in order to make sure that it doesn't get ripped again. And essentially this is what your brain's doing in real time. Backed by the National Institutes of Health, Berdia, a Romanian native, took his research that he began at Rutgers and created a for-profit company in North Brunswick, where he is continuing to test a system that he says can improve patients' attention, memory, reading, and multitasking abilities. His using virtual reality can help stretch the brain's thinking capacity, allowing it to repair and strengthen itself, said Linda Jacobson, whose San Francisco Bay Area company provides VR to seniors and caregivers in California. After people with dementia disorders engage in a cognitively stimulating activity, they communicate and interact more effectively than they did before the activity. That's pretty fascinating. So essentially, what Dr. Berdea says is that it boils down to the repetitive tasks that are baked within the games. He thinks that this is what helps rewire the brain. The doctor says, I have brought low-cost mobile VR systems to dementia communities and seen firsthand the reactions from individuals who have memory impairment. Though Berdea said he doesn't believe his system can replace medication, he thinks VR can enhance the treatment of patients, particularly those with dementia. So this is a really cool article, but it makes me wonder whether or not this is actually a press release for this dude's company, since you did the research and then went off to make a for-profit company. I can't really talk crap though, because that's what I'm doing, but my for-profit company is to raise money for the research. This guy did the research, found some good data, and then went and made a business off it. Hey, I can't knock it. That's the entrepreneurial mindset, right? So I think I'm gonna call it quits for today. I'll be back tomorrow with a better stream, some more articles, and a little bit more articulate and attentive attitude. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Give me some advice on how I can do better, and what games you guys are currently playing in VR. Thanks for watching. Bye.